terrorism failed me, they left my people to die in the streets. A life lived without constant fear should be the most basic human right.
Why are you so nice to us? Jesus was a refugee too.
I was born into communism. I did not have a choice what I was born into, but I chose Jesus, and I choose this country.
Alright, so before I go into the trailer reaction, I first want to talk about the backstory of this entire narrative. I did my research, and here's what I found out. There has been an ongoing conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan over a territory called Nagorno-Karabakh. Now, it's a little piece, or maybe I shouldn't say a little, but it's a significant piece of land that's within the Azerbaijan territory or borders. Now, back when Russia's kingdom was a lot larger and included Armenia and Azerbaijan, Nagorno-Karabakh was a part of what Russia was running. However, this territory was semi-autonomous. They could pretty much make their own decisions for the most part. But this territory was populated mostly, 90% I believe, by Armenians, yet it was within the Azerbaijan borders. Now, over decades, over time, the Azerbaijan and Armenian communities were pretty much fighting over who actually owned that land, who they belonged to, which country. Now, when the Soviet Union came to power, they took over Armenia and Azerbaijan, so they became independent states. But the territory of Nagorno-Karabakh was still left to be semi-autonomous. Now, whether this was done purposefully by the leader of Soviet Union or not, only God knows, but it's caused a lot of problems in the meanwhile. During the Soviet Union's rule, because the territory was mostly Armenian, a lot of the Armenians wanted to be considered as a part of Armenia. Again, this territory is within the Azerbaijan borders. So even though a majority of them are Armenian, they're surrounded by a majority of Azerbaijanis. During the fall of the Soviet Union during the late 80s, the people of Nagorno-Karabakh decided to have a referendum to decide which country they'd be a part of now that the Soviet Union was disseminating or crumbling beneath them. The Azerbaijani people were not part of this referendum. They boycotted this whole meeting. And of course, as you can imagine, if only Armenians are going to come to that meeting, mostly Armenians are going to be voting, which means that they chose to be a part of Armenia instead of Azerbaijan. And of course, the Azerbaijani people were not happy about that. On February 24th, 1988, there was a clash between the Azerbaijani people and the Armenians. Now, a few days later, in the city of Baku in Azerbaijan, the Petrosian family would face the organized pogrom of 1988, February 1988 in Baku, and it was horrible, guys. A pogrom is basically a decision to massacre an entire ethnic group. People were killed, property was destroyed, people were sold out. I mean, just imagine, sorry to say mini, but just because of the scale of it, a mini Holocaust in a way. It just absolutely horrible time. Now, the Petrosian family held out hope for their country, believing that it would be okay, they'd be fine, but eventually they did have to flee their country and go to Russia for some time. And there they encountered a church, they encountered Christ, they encountered hope, and then from there they decided to come to the US. They enjoyed their time here, they came back later on and wanted to become citizens and just stay and live their lives here in the US. Sorry, I'm saying here as if we're all in the US. I'm in Canada, sorry. But guys, it's an amazing, amazing, amazing story. You have to look into it. Let's go back to the trailer for a second and talk about some of the technical aspects of this film.